This is the Niners Nation podcast. I am Rob Stats Guerrera alongside Levin Black, and we are very pleased and privileged to be able to bring you a 5-time Pro Bowler for the San Francisco 49ers. Kyle Juszczyk is with us. Kyle, thanks for some time today.
Yeah, absolutely. What's going on with you guys?
We are doing well. I'm going to speak for you, Levin, because that's just how I roll. Before we start, I want to just get into it right away. You are here with us on behalf of a partnership that you have with Dick's Sporting Goods and the Sports Matter Giving Truck. Tell us what you got going on.
Yeah, so I was really excited about this one because I'm very passionate about youth sports. And so when Dick's Sporting Goods reached out to me about doing a partnership with the Sports Matter Giving Truck, I was all in. So basically, Dick's is going to be driving around with their giving truck, and we're going to go to under-resourced youth athletic programs and giving away sports equipment to teams that need it. So I'm all for helping out our youth football programs.
Yeah, that's a great thing to do. And I was reading up a little bit about that and how they're going to like 8 different cities, things like that. I think that's a great thing. I guess I can lead it off with I've always wondered this. I once saw, this was 20 years ago towards the end of his career, I saw Marshall Faulk talking about when he was running, he could almost see the entire play unfold. And he would, because of that, he could see if I run this direction for this amount of time, I can then cut back and get to open field. And he can kind of set up people that were further down the field. Now, you as a fullback, it's not the kind of traditional fullback blocking where you're just running straight into a hole right in front of you. You got to get to the outside, get up to the edge in this outside zone scheme. So I was wondering if you could talk about your thought process on how you identify who it is you need to block.
Yeah, that's funny. That actually, that's kind of exactly how I see the game as a fullback, and especially now with the experience that I have in running the wide zone system. I really can kind of see how the play is going to unfold, and you have to be able to anticipate if I take this angle, if I widen out. I know this guy's responsibility is that he needs to be outside of me. He needs to set the edge. So the wider I get, the wider he's going to get. And I've used that to my advantage because I'm not your stereotypical fullback. I'm not 260 pounds. I don't wear a neck collar and just smash into people. So I have to use those types of things to my advantage. And now I've gotten to a point that, I can see, how it's going to develop, and I know what it's supposed to look like for the running back behind me. So I do try to use those type of advantages for me to try and set up our running back and open up wider holes.
Do you sort of block according to the running back style that's behind you, or does he sort of work off of how you're blocking?
We kind of coach a certain style here. We don't, once you get to the second or third level, Bobby Turner, our running back coach, he always says that now that's on you. That's your own style. You do your thing. You just make that guy miss. You win however you're going to do it. But we do coach a certain style in that first level until you get to the line of scrimmage. We really are a one gap at a time, one cut type of running system. And we really stress what we call pressing, getting on the heels of the offensive lineman. Whereas I alluded to earlier that, say we're running a wide zone scheme and I have an outside target on my man. If the running back matches that path and he gets wide as well, that's going to make that defender get wider until he gets on my heels or the offensive lineman's heels. And then he can cut back and get into that gap. It's not necessarily as soon as he gets the ball, go straight to that open hole because that hole is going to close. In the NFL, things move quickly. Guys react. And so if you just go directly to the spot that you're trying to get to, the defense is going to be there waiting for you by the time you get there. So that's kind of the cat and mouse game where you want to set it up, make it look like you're going to hit it wide. And then once you get on the heels of those linemen, make that one cut and get back behind them.
Now, you've played for John Harbaugh and Kyle Shanahan, two, well-respected coaches, but at least from watching on TV, they seem to have kind of different styles on game days. John's kind of more the rallying the troops, kind of watches over everybody, tries to refocus people if they're having issues. Whereas Kyle's kind of the tactician, he's running the offense. He's always searching for that next play. I was wondering if you could talk about the differences between them on game days.
Yeah, there's a big difference. And just like you said, Kyle is very much more involved in the X's and O's. He's calling the plays, whereas John is kind of overseeing everything. More, I feel like his responsibilities are more, like you said, rallying the troops, clock management, talking to the refs, that kind of stuff. So in a way, Kyle he has a lot more on his plate on game day because he has to do all those things as well. He's still the leader of this team and has to make sure things are going well in that aspect, but he also has to call plays. He has to watch the defense, and he's even involved in sometimes helping with the call playing on our own defense. So he's got a lot on his plate. So you're really not talking to Kyle too much on game day unless he seeks you out. But two different styles, but I think they both do them both very well, and they're both successful with them.
So we host podcasts every single day for Niners Nation, and we hear from fans, Kyle, and you just mentioned it. Shanahan has a lot on his plate, and I'm hearing a lot of people say that he has too much on his plate, that there's just too much going on, and that he needs to sort of be kind of more like a John Harbaugh kind of conductor of the orchestra on game day. How fair is that criticism?
I wouldn't necessarily say that's too fair. And it's always so easy to say this kind of things right now with the start to the season that we've had. Hindsight's always 2020, and when you're 3-5, we're definitely looking for reasons of why we're in this situation. And, if that's one that you come to, I guess in that sense, it's fair. And we're all there's something that's not going right, obviously, and we need to figure that out. But I don't necessarily think it's that. It's easy just to point back to 2019. He was doing all those same things then, and we got to the Super Bowl. And so it's not like it's doing something new this year, that is leading to him, having too much on his plate or anything in that sense. So I don't think it's anything that he can't handle.
Yeah, well, bringing it in more into the season, you talked about the 3-5 start. This is one of the most experienced teams in the league with you guys. And a lot of you have been with this coaching system for a long time. You got a lot of veterans in there. But after games, both Kyle and the players have kind of cited a lack of execution as the reason for losses. So I was curious, what do you think it is, why the execution issues have cropped up this season?
Yeah, I wish I had a definitive answer for you because I'm kind of searching for it too. I don't know exactly what it is. It's been kind of something different each week, which is not, it's not up to our standard. It's not something that you would expect from a veteran team. But it sounds cliche, but we really do need to just be more consistent. 1 week it may be penalties, another week it's turnovers. Another is just execution of your blocks. Another maybe drop passes. It's never all those one thing, all of those in one game. But it seems that one or two has come to light in each of those losses. And that's just something that we have to nip in the bud and be more consistent and be good on all those fronts in each game.
One of the big topics this season has been the Brandon Ayuk situation. He wasn't getting used early in the season as much as he has recently. And he specifically mentioned you, Kyle, as someone that has helped him this year. Your lockers are next to each other. Number one, what did you say to him? And number two, what the hell took so long?
Yeah, you know what? Brandon, he's one of my favorite teammates of all time. It's been awesome to have a locker next to him the last 2 years. And we've spent just a lot of time together last year. We both pulled our hamstrings the same time in training camp. And so we went through the same rehab together, and I got to know Brandon well and, really feel him out as a player and as a person. And, at Brandon, it kind of goes back to what I was saying about the whole team. It's just been consistency. He always has shown flashes of what a dominant player he can be. He has such an elite talent set as a receiver and a guy that can be I really truly feel that can be one of the best in this league. But it's just going out there each and every play and doing it. And that's something I always stress with him. I tell him, I say, Brandon, just take it one play at a time, put maximum effort into that play, and then figure it out on the next one. We talk about that as a team, as a whole each week. It's like, let's put everything into this game. And no matter, what it takes, whether you get injured, whatever it is, put it all out there. And if we win, we'll figure it out the next week, so you just have to focus on what's in front of you right now and then figure out your game plan after that.
Right. And that's an example of your leadership helping IU, get to where he needs to be. And I wanted to ask that because that's kind of been one of the topic of conversations, that maybe there was a leadership void with Buckner's trade, losing that leader on the defense, and then Staley retiring, losing that leader in the offense. So I wanted to ask you, who are the leaders on this team that can kind of talk to everybody and bring everybody together?
Yeah. We have a ton of leaders on this team, and ones I point to right away, definitely Fred Warner. I think he not only is a captain on our team, but I think he's the captain of that defense. He really is the emotional leader, the vocal leader. And he's stepped in and become such a phenomenal leader for this team. And he's done a great job. I can't say enough things about what Fred's done, but also guys like Jimmy Ward has become a lot more vocal recently, and he's been phenomenal. Eric Armstead on the offense. Trent Williams is definitely one of our big leaders. Jimmy Garoppolo. I like to throw myself in there. George Kittle. We all kind of, take on those different duties. So I feel like there really hasn't been much of that void that people may think there's been. But it seems like it when, two veteran guys like that, especially somebody like Joe Staley, is lost because, he's been the face of this franchise for so long. So some of these faces may be new to fans as being the big leaders, but even the guys I just mentioned, they've been leaders for years here now.
Are those guys like grab your face mask, tell you to get your head out of your ass kind of leaders? Because I feel like when people talk about the leadership void, that's the kind of person that they're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, no, I don't think in today's game, there's really not a lot of that. And I don't know if Defoe or Staley were those guys either. Maybe Staley, with offensive linemen. But I promise you, Staley was never grabbing my face mask and telling me to get, my head in the game. That's kind of an older brand of football. I feel like you really don't see too much of that anymore. You definitely, like, guys are going to encourage you and tell you, like, let's lock in. But there's not so much of that, grab me by the face mask sort of mentality anymore.
Now, Mike McGlinchey has picked up an injury, and it brought up a question in my mind for you as a fullback. When you're trying to get to the outside to make a block, does it change anything for you in terms of who's at the tackle if you're going to the right side there, in terms of maybe knowing what they're capable of and who they might be able to get to? Does it just change anything?
Yeah, a little bit. It does. It depends on what the block is and what we're running. But I mean, yeah, there's definitely differences in, what tackles you need to help when you're getting out on into your route and pass protection, or if, what we call, like transportation series or like pin and pull schemes where you're out running in the open field. I'm aware of, the tackle that's in front of me and how well they can do in open space. And yeah, there's a little difference with Trent Williams versus basically anybody. I don't have to worry too much about him. But yeah, that's something that, you have to take into account.
Now, the offense has had times this year where they are absolutely rolling. They had 7 straight plays against Chicago where you guys gained either a first down or a touchdown, which is awesome. And you've had times when you've struggled. One thing I haven't seen so much this year, Kyle, is, hey, the offense needs a jolt. Let's do a play action and hit Juice on that wheel route down the sidelines. Are you talking to Kyle like, hey, where did that play go?
Believe me, I'm always talking to Kyle about that play. And if I do talk to him during the game, it's usually about setting something like that up. And we've hit 1 or 2, and there's been times where we've talking on the sidelines. All right, that play's coming up, or there's actually been a couple times where we've ran it and it's been open, but we just haven't had time to throw it. So I mean, I'm always in Kyle's ear about those type of things, but I promise they're always in the game plan. Kyle and Coach McDaniel. They do such a great job of scheming me up and put me in good situations to make big, kind of jolt plays like that. It's just, those aren't always plays that you can just call and run against any defense. They have to be set up. You have to have the right look. So there's a little bit of luck involved there.
Now, a lot of your plays in terms of getting catches are leak outs, things like that. Same with Kittle. He's known for getting those leak outs where he does a quick block and then gets out. I noticed early in the season, and it's hard to know exactly from, just watching on TV and then reviewing the all 22, but it seemed like defenses have almost keyed on that a little bit more, watched you and Kittle a little bit longer to see, is he truly going to hold this block, and then have come down when you guys have tried to leak out and they haven't been there as much. Have you noticed that, where teams are kind of keying on you guys doing that a little more?
Yeah, most definitely. And, defenses get paid too. They're studying us just like we're studying them. And, I see it a lot in the press conferences with opposing defenses the week leading up to that game. And you'll just hear them. They talk a lot about how much George and I do those type of things, or how much pre-snap motion we're doing, and how they're being taught not to get caught in the smoke and not let their eyes deceive them, because we do so many different things like that. So that just tells me that defenses, they're aware of it and they're keying on it. And that doesn't mean we can't still hit it, but it makes it a little more difficult.
We're talking with Kyle Juszczyk, who's here with us on behalf of Dick's Sporting Goods and the Sports Matter Giving Truck. If you want more information on that, you can go to sportsmatter.org. Kyle, you're 3-5, and obviously fans are disappointed. They're saying we had every opportunity against the Cardinals with some big names out to get a win. If you guys had won that game, you'd be the 7th seed right now in the NFC. And here come the Rams on Monday Night Football. And I think a lot of fans are feeling like when the ball is snapped, we are just hoping that something bad doesn't happen. Do the players feel like that? Do you feel that? Or is it not quite that kind of vibe in the locker room?
Yeah, no, we're definitely not to that point. And I believe me, I was just as shocked about the outcome of this last game as all the fans. I woke up that morning and just felt great vibes from myself and from all my teammates. And I really felt like we were going to come out and dominate in that game. So I was just as surprised as everybody else. And believe me, there's no letdown on this side. We still have a full commitment to winning this year. And we really still feel like we can turn this thing around. And, Kyle, he pointed out when he was in Washington, they started the season at 3-6, went into a bye, and ended up in the playoffs. So we don't want to get to that point. We're good at stopping at 3-5. We're ready to get some wins right now. But we know that, it's possible to do exactly the opposite of what we just did. It's very, very possible in this team to win 5 of the next 8 games or even better. So it starts with LA, and this is a team that we feel like we've had a lot of success against. So we're confident in that. And we feel like if we can just go get a win this week, that, like I alluded to earlier, we'll figure it out the next week. We just got to focus on this one.
Yeah. Now there's a report out I saw today from Michael Silver saying that Trey Lance in training camp had a great first week and then lost confidence. I was wondering if you could comment. Did you see him lose confidence? Do you think that's true at all? Or what did you see?
No, absolutely not. I saw no loss of confidence at all. I felt like Trey had a phenomenal training camp, and I think maybe you just saw those big splash plays that were posted those first couple weeks of training camp. But kind of like you said, when you're watching a game as a fan and you only get, you look at the all 22, you're not submersed in it every day. It's easy to see those. Oh my gosh, I saw all these highlights on Instagram that first week, and then I stopped seeing him. He must have lost his confidence, and that wasn't the case at all. Trey has been one of the most confident rookies I've seen, and has really handled things really well. So I don't think that's been a problem.
One of the common refrains that I hear when we talk about Trey Lance, and I've been one of the people that said he should have been the starter from day one, but people say he's not ready. And my argument for that is like, he's not a hot pocket, right? You don't just stick him in the microwave for a certain amount of time and then he pops out ready to go. Like, I think you got to get reps to get on the field and experience that. Where do you come down on that? Does he need to play right away does any player need to play right away to be ready? Or can you just watch from the sidelines and then when you come in, be ready to go?
Well, I will say, I definitely can't argue with you that there's nothing better than live reps, that nothing is going to get you ready better than those live reps. But I mean, I can speak for myself. There are other ways to get yourself prepared to play NFL football. And I don't know if I necessarily was ready to play my rookie year. I got 4 offensive snaps as a rookie and the rest were on special teams. And I think just getting those reps in practice and getting looks on special teams, eventually it really prepared me to be a starter in my second season. And Trey has gotten a little bit of that. You know, he comes in for a few plays each game in different packages. He's gotten that start against Arizona. He gets those reps in practice. There definitely is something to seeing the guy in front of you go out there and do it. You know, being able to visually see someone else do it without just having to imagine in your head does prepare you as well. So I think he's doing a lot of things that will prepare him once his time is ready.
So give us a little peek behind the curtain in terms of Trey Lance. What is he like in the locker room? Is he high energy? Is he playing music? Is he kind of calm, reserved over in his own? You know, what is he like when he's amongst the team?
Yeah, I would say he's calm. I wouldn't say he's reserved. When you talk to him, he's very open, very, very cool guy. Honestly, like cool is the number one word I go to. Is he's very easy to talk to. He seems comfortable in all situations. He's not afraid to, you know, come chop it up with the vets. You know, he's not sitting in his locker and not talking to anybody. The guy's he's just a very likable person and very easy to get along with and very receptive to coaching and to tips from the vets. And so he's just an A1 class guy.
Well, Kyle, we really appreciate your time. You've been very generous with us. Before we go, and again, go to sportsmatter.org for more information on with Dick's Sporting Goods and the Sports Matter Giving Truck. Before we go, leave us with one reason why things are going to be different this week against the Rams.
I think we just have, you know, kind of that underdog mentality and that pissed off mentality. You know, this team is fed up, you know, with what, and we're fed up with ourselves, with what we've been doing. And we've had discussions in the locker room. We've had lots of different powwows with each other and what we can do different to change it this week. And we feel like we're putting together a good plan of what we can do differently. There obviously something needs to change. And there's a lot of emotion driven behind this team and guys are ready to figure it out. So we're passionate about, you know, the work we're going to put in this week and we feel very driven.
Kyle Juszczyk of the San Francisco 49ers. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.